Hello, hello, everyone. It's Marielle. Welcome to another episode of Live with Marielle. I'm super excited today because I'm introducing you all to Nadia Hussein. She's one of my students who recently graduated from the Modern Mystic Business Breakthrough Mastermind. And when I was planning this episode, I was like, I really had that sometimes I plan my episodes and I know what I want to talk about and I can just be a talking head and teach. But when it came to this episode, I was like, I need to talk to Nadia about this because you're amazing and you are such a perfect example of what it takes to pivot in your business. I mean, not only do you help your own clients, someone says that they can't hear.
Oh.
Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear now.
And can you hear me? Maybe I need to ask them if they can hear me.
I definitely hear you. But you know what? Maybe I'll just use the built-in.
Let me know if you can hear me now.
It's better on my
sound. Is it better? Okay, so everyone else on Facebook, let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Let's see. Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, you can hear me, Nadia. So I'm not sure why it's not, or if it's better now. Okay, so I'm going to continue, but just in case you can't hear me still, I can hear you now. Okay, yay. All right, so I'm going to start over. So I'm introducing you all to Nadia Hussein, and I was just saying how Nadia today we're going to be talking about how to pivot successfully in life and in business, but doing it when there's so many unknowns. And when I was planning this episode, I was like, no one better than Nadia to have a conversation with you about this, because Nadia, you went through this with me in my program, and you actually help your clients go through this. So thank you so much for joining me. I've missed you. I know you just graduated from the program, and every Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm like, where is she?
I feel the same. I thank you for having me. First of all, I was so excited when you texted me because I really miss you too. And like I said, every Tuesday and Wednesday, I think about you, and I just really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of learning.
Yeah. So, when you first started, you were you had already been working with clients for a while, but you were really trying to expand your reach and create a system and all of that fun stuff. So there's a lot of pivoting that has to happen in business. And I wanted to have this conversation because I think that this is one of the most important lessons that that entrepreneurs need. Sometimes we have this fantasy that that we're going to launch our business, and if we create it, if we build it, they will come, right? And nothing can be further from the truth. And so we get into so many different things with such expectations, and then all of a sudden you realize that you might not have the skill level, or that you have to really step into a whole new identity, or there's just so much growth that comes along with entrepreneurship and leveling your business, up leveling your business, that it can be challenging. So I guess one of my questions is tell us a little bit about your experience with pivoting and growing your business from the very beginning to where you are now.
Good question. Yes, pivoting is a huge part of it. I've had some experience pivoting my life in general with all my plot twists. I'm big on that, but never did I guess that there would be so much more pivoting to do. I guess that's what I'm really surprised about. And so where I started before, starting with you was that I thought, I had this little path and, my goals were different, right? So my goals were just, hey, like I just quit my job and I started to serve my clients. And what really drew me to your services when I saw your video was it was exactly what I needed. Messaging, right? I knew that's what I was lacking. So I was like, all right, I'll just get some messaging skills here and then I'll be able to know how to promote myself. But there was just so much more. And it's like, yeah, business changes you, but business with a business coach changes you even more, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that's the best way that it came from my heart. I didn't even think about that. It's just the way it was my experience, right? So, the pivots were like, obviously you're guiding us and saying what needs to happen next. And then you saw the resistance in me. I was like, okay, I'll take what I'll take and I'll leave the rest. Like, like I had it in my mind. I'm like, I'm not listening to Marielle. She's telling us to do lives now. I don't have to do everything she tells me to do. But then I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. Right. And then I did it a couple times. So for whoever is watching who thinks that they have it all figured out in their mind and they're like, no, I want to do this and I don't want to do this, try to do it. And even if you don't like it and it doesn't align with you, because, as mystics, we say, oh, we go along with what we're aligned with. But there's a fine line between just giving something a chance and really resisting because you have your fear of your subconscious fear, or are you resisting because it really doesn't align? I mean, the only way you'll know is if you give it a chance, right? So, I mean, I know Marielle's proud of me because I said no, and then I said yes, and then I said I don't like it, and then I said I'm going to continue to do it. And now I love it. I am a TikTok live junkie.
Oh my God, I love it. I love that you just said that because it's true. We pride ourselves as modern mystics to, to we pride ourselves in like really listening to our intuition, but sometimes it's not your intuition. Sometimes it's your fear. Sometimes your procrastination and resistance is really there's something subconscious behind it, and it's not necessarily your higher self. you
Yeah.
know so one of the parts about pivoting is being able to listen strategically, to
Mhm.
think and use your to trust, right? To say, I just hired this girl and maybe she's gonna, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyways because this is a process, right? So yesterday I was talking to one of my other clients inside of the goddess circle. She's like, I've gotta be honest. I was really upset the first week when you said she signed up because she wanted to do she wanted to accomplish her goal.
Yep.
And I asked her to pause that and to do something else instead. And she's like, I really didn't like that. She's like, so I felt really triggered. And I feel like, you might have felt that as well at one point too. Like, I wanted to do this. Why is she teaching me that?
Yeah.
Right. So like that, I feel like that's one of the things that happens to all of us when we are on a path of progression and elevating and growing all the time. Like, we just want to get to where we want to get, without really and the unknown is so scary, Nadia.
Yeah. It is really scary. Like, and sometimes you're aware of your fears. But it's like, we know as coaches, we practice what we preach, right? And one
Or
of the
we
things,
try.
yes. And one of the things that I always tell my clients is that in order to change your personal reality, I quote Dr. Joe Dispenza, in order to change your personal reality, you have to change your personality. So that doing lives is not in my personality is not a good excuse, because I was able to change my identity for all of the plot twists that I created in my life. When you really think about it, your identity has to change. And you've seen my identity change in the last 6 months,
Oh my
right?
God. I saw a complete like transformation.
Yeah.
It was actually beautiful to see because you always started with so much wisdom. And I remember, I will never forget the when you reached out and you're like, I'm doing this. I manifested this and I'm doing it. And I was like, oh, this girl's a manifester. And
Yes.
and you've always had that level of depth and smart and sassy all at the same time.
Yeah, and it's just really trust the process. Like the part where you're talking about like people want to do a certain thing and then you're like, no, this is what needs to happen now. As the expert, you're telling us, and we need to trust that, trust the process. Just like we trust the process in our life, we have to trust the process in our business. And our business is like our life, right? It's like how we live our life, we run our business.
And one of the best ways I think to manage stepping into the unknown more powerfully and pivoting is having a process. You know, it's very scary to do something and feel completely alone and like you have to figure it all out by yourself and you have to go and research everything. I mean, that's a really lonely place and it doesn't work. And I know because I've tried it. I tried it before and I feel like it took me 4 years in the desert to really try to piece, half of a strategy together. Um, but yeah, like just really trying to find a strategy, a tribe or a coach or someone to hold you by the hand and take you through the process really helps when you are stepping into that unknown, because it's not easy for our mind and our ego to just let go completely and to be like, oh, I have no resistance, I'm ready, you know.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and that is where the growth is, right? Like that inner growth. And I was just talking to my client, and we were cracking up because she's very very self aware, and she's like, I really, when I noticed I was getting triggered, I really noticed that I had to shift something, and I needed to work on something within, and interestingly enough, like now she's exactly where I wanted her to be. And now she's ready for the next step, right? Um, so what were some of like the bigger struggles that you felt, within that you were going through as you were going through the program?
Oh, I have to say technology. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah,
Like, okay.
everything. Like, yeah, the fear of tech is huge.
Yeah, it was technology. And like, honestly, like you guys, Marielle's program does a lot of this stuff for you. And there was a point where it was funny because you said, oh, my team will take care of that tech. And I was like, no, 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 it's okay. Because I know it now, because I literally spent the time with, I spent a day to learn. And I did it through chat and Google Meet and stuff with the team, right? With the ClickFunnels team or whatever. And I learned how to do it because I wanted to be
I
independent.
was I was so proud of you when you said that, because I mean, a lot of my clients, they don't like doing the tech. And the truth is, like, if you're not going to be a business coach like me, you don't have to like be totally proficient in it, right? But I do. When you said that, Nadia, I was like, "That's my girl."
And when I remember one day when I was going to show you how I revamped my whole sales page, and I was like, she's going to be so proud of me because I have an upsell page and I figured out how to do it because, I'm a mom. Okay. And I always had this belief that although I sheltered my kids and I did everything, a lot of things for them, and I was always there. I also had this thing of I'm not clipping their wings. And so, right. And so I knew that in time, my time with you would be up, and I need to learn how to do this because I need to create more of these sales pages. Right. And so I wanted to learn. But technology has definitely been the hardest part of this whole thing.
Actually, I think I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that is one of the biggest roadblocks and fears for most people. And it just seems like it's just another gremlin waiting to attack you. And it's very scary, and I really relate with that, because I felt that resistance to technology when back when I was first getting started. And I had to literally sit myself down and say, okay, Marielle, you're going to learn this, you're going to do it, and you're going to get good at it. And then I just literally felt part of me saying, no, I don't want to.
I know.
And so there's a lot of anxiety that can come with trying to eat an elephant all at once, you know? And so that's why it's so important that when you are stepping into the unknown, whether it's, you're about to do a launch, or you're doing your first live stream for the first time, or, you're launching a new offer, or you're starting a group coaching program for someone, or a retreat, whatever. It's so, so important to break it down into bite-sized pieces.
Yeah. And to really discern, to be able to discern what to use your group coaching time for. I mean, I know I started out very like spoon feed me. I was very, because I was so on uncharted territories. And honestly, I was never a good student in school. So I had this feeling of lack, right? Like I'm in my late 40s, like, what am I doing? I had these moments, and I just wanted you to like make it easier for me, which is kind of like not fair at the same time. And then I'd be like, I remember thinking, oh, I have to ask Marielle all this stuff for tomorrow's Q&A. And I'm like, why would I put myself in your shoes? And I was like, why would I give her a headache about this stuff? This is tech. This is not what she wants to talk to us in Q&A about. Like, it's about messaging. It's about be considerate about what, like, you don't want to sit there and teach us tech. You're not the tech person. You have your own tech team, right? So, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of skills that we learn as entrepreneurs with going through a business coaching program. So I feel like I'm more mature now.
You absolutely are. But it was so beautiful to see like how because honestly, I mean, I was totally fine with the idea of spoon feeding, because that's why you hire someone, and to me that means just being able to answer your questions, and being understanding as a coach. And I mean, you have to understand this for your people too, and anyone watching this, right? People hire you so that you can break it down into those size pieces. But to see also that you were able to stand in the other person's shoes, that's really, really powerful. And I mean, I always did that as well. Like I was always trying to, and I've had many coaches. I was always trying to be. I was always kind of like the girl who sat at the front of the
Me too.
I know. Pick me. So it's so funny how like those patterns as children kind of repeat as you grow up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so interesting. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is like at any point, and you can answer this also from a perspective of your own clients. At any point, did you feel like you like a victim, like you noticed that you were acting victim-y?
Yeah.
Did you? Because I mean, you're most of my clients, such as you, very highly self-aware people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was going through your head when you noticed and you're like, wait a minute, did I just write that? Did I just think that? Like that's not like me.
Like you're talking about like when I was going through the program?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I just felt so overwhelmed that Like I didn't know what I didn't know what I signed up for, to be honest with you. That was my own thing, because sometimes like I'm very intuitive, right? So I didn't research you and research your shit, and I didn't look at through everything. I was just like, I need her, like whatever. And that's not, guys, that's not to say that I don't spend my money mindfully. I am very, very financially responsible. Um,
Mhm.
but I just trusted my intuition and knew that I needed to hire Marielle. But I didn't realize that it was this entire program of like pivots, like left, right, and center pivots. And so I was like, oh my God, like I can't, like, what is this? And then it was the technology thing and the stress and the overwhelm. But hey, it's all a part of it. It's what grows you. If you're not, it's like one of my clients the other day, he was upset. Like I've been talking to him weekly, and he's like, "Oh, this was a terrible week. So many things happened, and then you gave me homework." And I was like, "I don't want to do it. I give up. Maybe empowerment's not for me." I said, "Listen, you asked for confidence. You asked for empowerment. You asked for emotional regulation. How are you going to get it without being triggered? You don't get to decide how the universe gives it to you, right? You don't get to decide that." And that's what I was telling him. And also, I'm like, when you learned how to walk, did you just stand up and start walking without falling? You fell over and over and over again. Why do we think that we can't fall now and get up? It's the same thing, right? So,
Totally. Yes. That's such a beautiful way to put it, Nadia. And
yeah.
what did he say?
Yeah, he got it. He got it. And he felt more motivated to continue, to just get up. I told him it's a subconscious pattern that we have. As adults, we're jaded. We think, oh my God, I failed, so I got to stay down. No, you don't have to
Or
stay.
we want instant gratification,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
And one of the things that really screws people up in business is thinking that there is a silver bullet to where they want, and so to where they want to go, and there really isn't. There
Yeah.
really is not a silver bullet. You have to build your digital queendom. You have to make sure you understand, why are you doing this? What is the story behind this brand? What are my clients really struggling with? Instead of just, I just want to talk about what I want to talk about. Like you have these are all blocks that you must know. And I always say a good coach is a good marketer, 100%. Um, and it opens up so many new neuropaths in our brain when we actually learn about our messaging, right?
Yeah. Messaging is huge. It's like putting yourself almost like in your past self. Like, who were you? What did you need to hear? I know one of the messages that I needed to hear was create a life that feels good on the inside, not one that looks good on the outside.
Now
That
that
was
good messaging.
right.
Yeah, that's
That was huge. That if my target audience was even that even works for young people, because my target, a lot of people that are in their 20s and 30s before they, make the biggest decisions of their lives, those are the ones that come to me. But if it's midlifers, it's definitely the message. How many midlifers are living in their status quo, thinking that, I'm just going to stay because it looks like it looks like a picture perfect situation, right?
yeah,
So, yeah.
that's so true. Um, Also, like managing the expectations that comes along with growth. I think
Mm,
that's huge. I recently did a launch for our new academy, and and so many things went wrong. So I always say you have to really give yourself permission to create, give yourself permission to test,
yes.
and then give yourself permission to pivot. And so many little things, so many tech things went wrong. It was during those 7 planets in retrograde.
Oh yeah. Yes,
Oh
I remember
my
that.
God. Like it was insane. Like what would happen in my emails, like it was just whack.
I
And
know.
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I mean, we have it's actually going amazing. You know, we have a lot of clients that signed up, and it was awesome. But it really kind of felt like I felt like a failure during the time I was doing it. It can be a very emotional roller coaster, even for me.
Yeah. And it really helped when you shared your stories with us, like about like we're on a constant path of learning and growth, no matter how high people are, right? And it's like it's all a lie when people say everything's always perfect or love and light and it's always everything works out. It doesn't. And when you share your stories, it's like the time when I messaged you about something and I said, "Oh my God, this really helped." And you're like, "Oh, Nadia, when you messaged me, I realized that I got to step into that and give you this today."
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, that was really, I remember that. That was really
yeah.
powerful.
And when you were sharing about all the tech stuff, the problems just now, when you were sharing, I was thinking there's no, in NLP, we say there is no failure, there's only feedback. And trusting the process to know that all what came about for me with all of these problems was that I learned to evolve in terms of my level of patience because I'm not the most patient person.
Mm,
When I was married, I mean, I did everything, but anything that required patience, I would give to him. It's like, "Hey, I can't get this thing unraveled. Here, can you do it? Can you sew this thing? I can't fix it," like whatever it was. Yeah, not my strong suit, but I'm getting better at that.
totally. No, absolutely. Patience is hard. I am not the most patient person. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you always have to ask yourself, like, how much do I want this? How important is this for me? Am I willing to go get a job? Because it is easier to go get a job, people. Like, seriously.
Remember when I did that?
What?
I got a job. And I told you, like, I don't know what it was fear, okay? Because single mama with a mortgage, totally uprooted my life, moved an hour away, quit my job, started a business. I'm like, "Oh my God, maybe I need to supplement my income with a job right after I sign up with Marielle." Okay. I was new to you. You probably didn't really realize at
No,
the
I had no idea you did that. But that's a great idea. I'm so glad you shared that,
Yeah,
Nadia.
I
Keep going.
did that. And then the job was it was something I don't even do. It was like a warehouse job for like 40 hours a week, 10 hours a day. And I had planned to listen on my AirPods to your group stuff, but I didn't know, like, I just started with you. So I didn't really know what was entailed.
Right.
Honestly, if I got the job, I just didn't take it. I didn't go. And I'll tell you why I didn't go. Because when you change your identity, you're changing it at the subconscious level. So your conscious mind might say, "Oh, I need to get a job so I can make sure I have enough money for my bills." Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fair. I mean, we need to be logical too, right? So my
Right.
conscious mind is saying that, but my subconscious mind is saying, like, hell, you're going there. I couldn't do it. That's how I quit. That's how I literally quit my job too last year because I
So
took a leave.
you literally closed the back door, burned the boats, and you were like, this is gonna work and it's gonna work.
Yeah, I was like, how does this actually like make sense? Like I hired a business coach and I need to actually be there to do the work. Like it was like, you get this resistance coming up all the time. Don't listen to it. Like just be. And that's what the goddess circles is all about too. It's like you have this combination of, you know, masculine Wednesdays and feminine Tuesdays. Right? So, I mean,
Oh my God, you couldn't have put it better. It's true. And I never bullshitted you guys about the fact that you need to have both. And even though we are in, it's the rise of the feminine, it's also the
I
rise
used
of
to
the
get so mad. Remember, I used to get so mad. I'm like, "Mary, I don't want to talk about goddess. I have a question about this." Oh my God. Marielle knows not to take her clients' triggers seriously because of me, you guys.
You know what? I loved how you always asked for what you needed. I really love that. And that really shows me, it really shows me that you take your work seriously and that you ask the questions because I've seen it even like at me being in other groups and learning from other coaches, doing the work myself and having other people in the group with me. They were afraid to ask sometimes. I was never afraid. I was at the front of the classroom saying, "Pick me." Oh, I have the answer. Oh, I have a question. And if you don't do that, then you don't learn. But I do remember that, and then eventually you just go straight into goddessing up. You were like, "I'm goddessing up. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do my higher hour power."
Oh my God. That was so amazing. I love that. I don't know why I don't continue to do that on a regular basis, but it's like real,
Yeah.
right? I love that.
I know. Eventually, like when you started doing the higher power hour, you were like, "Oh my God, my higher self said to do this." And then it was so beautiful to see it, Nadia, because from you saying, "Marielle, but I have a question about tech. Can we just talk about that?" To seeing you be like, "Oh, I'm all in and goddessing up," and to really see it emerge, it was just so fun.
I know. And I told you that I did my videos from my higher power hour and I watched it and my energy was so different. Right. And then the book that you sent us, the E Square, that was really cool too. I still am doing the book, but I stopped for a long time until I get the manifestation. This is really cool.
Yeah, sometimes you actually have to, in order to pivot. You're bringing up all the right stuff, girlfriend. In order to pivot, you sometimes have to take pauses. So one big, huge mistake that people misconception is that everything is going to come to you at once. Like you have this idea for an offer, for example, and it's an idea, but let's be honest, a lot of those amazing offers, they're only half baked. Like there is still so much more that you're going to add to it and refine it as you create, test, and pivot, right? So everything doesn't happen all at once. So you have to take these small pauses. Like we used to talk about, you have to take a break and go out for a walk. You have to go take a break and go to the beach and have fun. And I mean, I remember that was literally part of your homework.
Yeah, I remember you would talk a lot about that. It's like if you're confused, stop, just go for a walk. And that's really important because that's where the insight and the wisdom comes from.
Yeah.
It's when we're not looking for it, when we're just really just being, because we are human beings, not human doings. So
Yes.
that's why we just need both, right? But in terms of the TikTok thing, I don't know if you had a question about that I can dive into. Share.
I absolutely want you to share about TikTok because Nadia had so much resistance when you were going through. Okay, so inside of the program there is a 30-day visibility challenge, and it's not meant to be done forever and ever. However, it's so interesting to me that the women who have the most resistance to starting that end up falling in love and kind of become addicted to it once they complete that 30-day challenge. And so yeah, so you started your challenge. Tell us a little bit. And I recommended go on TikTok. It's like the algorithm is awesome, which by the way, I'm super excited because I am now actually going to start my TikTok channel. So we're actually launching it this month, and I'm really excited to do it. But yeah, so I was like, go do it on TikTok. Your people are there. Your people are there. Tell us about how what your experience was with that 30-day visibility challenge.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I was not interested in the beginning. And but then I started to do it, even though I was resistant. And then when I started to do it, I wasn't really feeling it. And then I said, well, you don't really know if you're not feeling it unless you give it a try more. So just continue. I continued. I think some of the narratives in my head were, wow, that's really vulnerable. Like going out there on live, you don't know who's watching you. Like your family and friends can be there, especially on Instagram. And So, and then I had all these fears about trolls and if they come on there and they say rude things to me. And I'm just like, okay. And so I went on and I did get that. I got some pretty nasty comments. But you know what the funny thing is? I was really surprised at my reaction. There was no reaction. I was like poker face. And people were like, wow, like you're so confident. Like that's what people were saying to me. I was like, yeah. And I go, guys, I was talking to the trolls. I go, you know what? You got to know your audience. I said, if you want to, affect people, you got to go after the ones that actually care. I mean, I've already been through everything under the sun. There's nothing that you can do to break me. I'm here for a higher purpose. And so they would stay, and people were like always messaging me that, like, I have regular people that stay on with me literally for an hour and a half. They stay on. I never expected that. So, number one, expect the unexpected. So,
Yes.
I have my day is already full. So sometimes I'll just make my coffee and put it on. And hey, I'll be in my robe, I'll do whatever, and I'll make my coffee and they're with me. Hey, it's coffee time. Yeah. Or one day I was like, guys, I have to make soup. Sorry, like sweet potato soup with coconut milk coming right up. So they stayed with me the whole time. And I was talking to them and stuff like that. And so I have a moderator on there now who mutes rude comments. Okay. People are like, block them. Why are you letting them stay on your live? I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't reflect on me, right? They'll say all kinds of nasty stuff. And then they're like, oh my God, you're so nice to your trolls. And they end up staying and engaging. They even inbox me later saying that you gave me so much to think about. Like, because it's what I do. I'm an empowerment coach, right? How can I be afraid? I'm an empowerment coach, right?
I love it. I can't, I remember you messaged me several times. Like, I think when you first started doing and you started seeing like, oh my God, this thing is working.
I was always so excited. So I would like take pictures of like everything and send it to Marielle. I get like 2,000 likes on my thing. I was like shocked. Like all these likes, these people are staying, they're coming back.
The algorithm is so virgin on TikTok. So and when somebody shows up and is willing to be real, and honest and just like raw, you're going to get a huge community and a following.
That's a really good point, the real and raw, because I typically only get about 15, 20 people coming to my lives at one time. That's the most I usually get. Sometimes it'll be 150, 180, very rarely.
Yeah.
But I noticed that one day, I mean, I think one of your graduates, she does some religious, spiritual, or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So one day, and I had the same kind of story as her because of my religion. I left my religion and there was a lot of spiritual abuse that I went through. So when I was talking about that, I was heated. I had like 180 people come on. I don't know how they know, like, to come on.
It's your energy. And this is one of the reasons why I love teaching people how to do videos and how to, more than just like press the go live button, like how to actually talk about the shit you really care about, because video shares your energy. It amplifies your energy. People just feel either repelled or they feel totally like, that's my tribe, if you do it correctly, right?
Yeah. And they say that to me. They're like, I come here for your energy. Like you have good energy.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm not always love and light happiness. I'm like, I cry. I've like a couple of times I've like my eyes have watered literally because I got emotional because I was sharing something, right? And
yeah, that's the power of vulnerability.
Yeah, it's a community. I'm happy to say that I've created a community on there, and they read each other's comments and they support each other. And then someone will come on, like last week, they're like, "Guess what? It's my birthday today, Nadia." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" I put the New Kids on the Block song on, "Happy Birthday," and I sang it to her. I'm crazy like that. Like I sing because I'm all about karaoke, so I sing.
And are you finding that the clients that you're getting from TikTok are how are they showing up to the sales calls?
I haven't had a lot. I did get one high ticket client from TikTok, but the other ones are just, yeah, they're a little bit, they're interested. They're messaging me a lot. They're in that phase, right?
Okay.
But in terms of sales calls overall, yeah, it's good. Oh, the stuff that you taught me about closing and stuff like that really, really helped. Um, Especially if there was so much clarity. Like I never would have known this stuff, right? So that's why I say that it is important to have a coach, because you need to know this stuff about the packages and what you're going to like. Hey, if you buy now, like, all that kind of stuff is really important to know, which I never would have known. And that makes the difference between a sale and no sale.
Oh, for sure.
Leaving money on the table, right?
Absolutely.
So that's important. That has been really helpful.
You have to be really prepared. And sometimes, especially when you're first launching, you don't know if your offer is going to work or not until you get on those sales calls and they, are they going, do they want that? Are you selling them something that you want, that they want, or are you selling something that you want to sell? Right. So you really don't know unless you actually test it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So, what advice would you give anyone who is who is in a situation where maybe something didn't work or didn't work out as well, and they're really looking to either up level in their mindset or, in their soul or in their business?
So something that didn't work out specifically, like when you're working together,
Well, no, like, everyone's going through something, and when people are creating and then they're testing something, and maybe they're testing something, but it's not exactly what they expected, or what as a coach, empowerment coach, what would you suggest to them?
I would say that's when you need to take that break and really trust the process and really have it in your mind that there is no failure. There's only feedback. What is this trying to tell me? Where do I need to pivot? Pay attention and really, like I said, trust the process, get into your feminine energy and take bite-sized pieces. Bite-sized, right? So if you're doing your digital queendom, just say, this is what I'm doing for 2 days and pace yourself. Really pace yourself and enjoy the process. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Really enjoying that and really be very, and I could have done better with this, like I said, but being intentional about the Q&A days, because Q&A is very, like I said, masculine. You have to really come prepared and know what you want to ask. Like even now I think, oh my God, why did I not ask this and that and this? I should have come prepared. But
And you came to all of them, I feel like.
no, I came to all of them, but I didn't come prepared. The more it's a collaborative approach, right? It's like I tell my clients, there's no way that you will not grow and not transform with my services if you do your part.
Yeah.
I say that to them all the time. And when my clients reach out to me and they still reach out to me, my former clients, and they're like, you changed my life. And I say, no, you did your part. This is collaborative. If
Yeah.
you do your part right, there's no way that you
You're
won't
not
level.
going to get a result.
You will level up, but the amount to which you excel and level up is directly proportionate to how you do your part. Because Marielle has done the work. Hey, there's so many videos. I get a headache when I look at it. I'm like, how did she do all this work? there's a lot in there. There's no there's no excuse basically. If you're
No, it's
looking
yeah.
out, right?
There's we really try to, everyone's at a different place in their business. Some people are just launching, some people are already have, those high ticket clients coming in, and now they're trying to scale. There's so much that needs to happen, and I feel like it can be overwhelming if you don't have and you're not sure about what you want to do. So I think that it's important to understand your why. Understand that it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not there is no silver bullet. I don't care what people say. If somebody is promising you that you're going to launch you know, that if you have zero, if you have nothing right now, that they're going to give you a secret formula and you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow. Run the other fucking way, because it's not true. It just is not true. It's possible for someone. It's possible, but you can't outrun the laws of marketing. You just cannot. If you do not learn your messaging, if you do not understand whether you've created the right thing, and it's really easy to create stuff that's no one's going to buy. That's really easy, right? But if you don't understand the foundations, and it's not going to work long term.
No, of course it's not. And I mean, the fact is I have all of those videos. So I still have the videos, obviously, right? So I can
still have access to everything, and everything that we're adding to as well.
Oh, cool.
You're like, oh my God, more stuff.
Yeah, and I would never know unless I was intentionally saying, okay, I'm going to go into it, right? And see if and I think about that. I'm like, I got to go into Marielle's thing and see if there's any videos that I really need to be watching right now. Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, no, it's been great.
One of the things that I really loved about you, Nadia, and that really stuck with me is one time when you said, you know, Marielle, I didn't realize that when you first joined the program, you said, I just wanted to learn to get like a client here and a client there. You're like, I didn't realize that I can create a whole brand. Like I can do what you're doing.
That's the biggest thing.
Like I saw your perception just like widen, and you were like, oh, it was almost like I gave you permission to do it. And I was like, oh yeah, I thought that's what you wanted. You're like, no.
I don't know. Maybe your other clients who come to you are going into it knowing that they want to do this. Mm-hmm. Did you ever have anyone like me who was just like, I just want, probably, right?
No, I've never had a client like you.
You guys, she means that as a compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. Because and you speak your mind, right? Which is really, which I love. And you were like, Marielle, I didn't know that I could do all of this, and that I could that like I saw your goal go from here to here.
Yeah.
And then I saw you chasing it, and you were like a whole nother person.
What did you create, girl? Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up. From this whole conversation, this is actually the most important piece, because I really did just go into it for, just this. Okay. I never thought, like, when people say, oh, my team and I can have this and that, I was like, I don't need all that. I just want to make some money and pay my bills, because I'm replacing my income, basically.
Yeah.
Honestly, my goals went from here as a business owner to here. I'm building an empire. Like, it's weird. Like, I never expected this. Now I see it. Like, in my future journaling or whatever, I have that I have like, a VA, and I have, I had to have an accountant. I have all IT. I never thought that before. Like, and I had a lot of imposter syndrome from years ago, where there was maybe a little bit of residue, very little, because I'm an empowerment coach, and I've mastered it. But going through your program has even gotten me higher in terms of releasing any residue of imposter syndrome. And hey, I see me as equivalent to all the very successful influencers. I see that, and you
can't achieve something unless you see it first.
I see it. And then I even see that I'm so abundant that I won't, you know what? I hate cooking and cleaning now. Like, take Marielle's program and you're not going to like to cook and clean. Laundry is a waste of time. I was like,
oh my God, you crack me up.
It's so bad, because I love a clean house, and I just don't obviously have hired help at the moment. So I'm still keeping on top of it. But I feel like it's such a waste of time, because my identity has changed. When you change your identity, which this program really helps you with, you don't have to make any efforts to get there. Your subconscious mind is the driving force to everything you think, feel, and do. When you say, I'm an abundant, successful entrepreneur and influencer, your brain is going to look for ways to make that happen. You're going to end up in places where you're going to meet people to get that to happen. So I just love it.
That's amazing. That cracks me up. The first thing that I ever did for myself and my household when I first started getting my first high ticket clients is I gave up doing laundry. And I hired help for that. But yeah, so that you crack me up. I love you.
Yeah, it's like I never know.
I'm really proud of you. I'm really, really proud of you, of all of your accomplishments, of the fact that you are, living your dream and your intention, and you've created community and an audience that adores you. You're helping clients, and you're on this path of building your own empire, and you should be, because somebody's going to. Why not you?
Yes. Thank you so much. Oh, this was so much fun.
So much fun. Thank you for joining me, Nadia. I love you. You know that, you're always a text message away.
Yes.
And thank you all. Sorry?
I said, yes, we'll be in touch then. Thank you.
Absolutely. And for everyone watching, thank you for hanging in there. And Nadia, do you want to share where people can get in touch with you? How can they follow you on TikTok, Instagram, watch all of your amazing videos and join your live streams? That's awesome. And I know you have a few group programs that you have going on. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So you can reach me at Instagram, nadia.wellness, nadia.wellness. TikTok, it's Self-Love Diva. And I have a couple of different programs. So I have an empowerment group coaching program. It's a 6-week intense self-doubt to self-confidence type thing. And then I've got my 12-week evidence-based social, emotional, and mindfulness program. That's a really amazing program. That was a life changer for me. I mean, it really goes into exploring your deep-seated beliefs, biases, and stereotypes that are literally running the show in your life. Really accessing your own wisdom and insight, which makes you so aware, so socially aware, and so self-aware, which just makes you more empowered in your personal and professional relationships, and definitely helps your physical health as well. Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health. Oh, yes. And then it's my one-on-one coaching program that I also have, which is a 12-week program as well. And that's intense one-on-one self-doubt to self-confidence, very holistic in nature. I draw from my experience in neuroscience, quantum physics, empowerment, mental health, all that kind of stuff. And spirituality, of course.
Love it. Thank you, Nadia. And we will be back next Wednesday, every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to join the Modern Mystic Business Breakthrough, where I can answer all of your questions, and you can even submit things that you want to learn about, definitely do that. It's on Facebook. It's called the Modern Mystic Business Breakthrough. And that's it for today. Thanks for joining, and thanks for joining me, Nadia. We will be in touch.
Okay, bye.
Bye.